Welcome to Tanygrisiau. A little disclaimer before we get started with today's filming. Apologies to anybody local, anyone Welsh, for any of the butchered pronunciations of the names today. So, Tanygrisiau, an intermediate stop on the Ffestiniog Railway. This is a famous narrow gauge railway. This is probably up there, isn't it? This is Premier League when we're talking about Wales's narrow gauge railways. So, as the name would suggest, it runs from Blaenau Ffestiniog these days down to the sea at Porthmadog. There's a phrase that's synonymous to this area, and that's that the area around Blaenau Ffestiniog provided the slates to the rooftops of the world. So what are we doing today? I'm filming a series of videos loosely around this line. I'm going to go up and have a look at a quarry that was accessed from an old tramway slash incline just up the line here, and then I'm going to have a look at a little bit of the history of this line. There's an interesting deviation on here, so we're going to have a look at a little bit of a disused section of the Ffestiniog Railway. And to be honest, I could have done any number of the quarries on here. Just driving down, I mean, from here, look, I can see, just look up that hillside. Can you see that incline going up there? You look up in these, on these hillsides, and they're just littered with inclines. But what a beautiful day it's going to be today, hopefully. That you can see in the distance there, that's the hydro power station. We're going to be seeing a little bit more, talking a little bit more about that on a later video. And there's the railway down there. So I've just brought you down onto this little, very little quaint slate footbridge, just to have a look. So I've got the station I've just been stood on behind me, and looking down there. Now, this quarry, Cwmorthin Quarry, it had a tramway going up to it, which left what's now the Ffestiniog Railway just in front. And as we make our way up to the quarry, we're going to go and look for remains of that incline. And we did have sidings here, that's why I fetched you onto this footbridge. We did have a series of sidings. I mean, already we've not even done any climbing yet, but look at the views down the valley there. And looking up there, just out of shot, is a dam at the top there. I just want to come back to that pronunciation. I've just said it was Tanygrisiau, didn't I? Now I've written down here Tanygrisiau. Is that right? Literally translates to under the steps. So I think we're stood somewhere near here, around at the start of where this incline would have started, where it would have left the railway, the current railway. I'll just show you there. So the railway's flanking off. It's bearing off to the right as it goes in towards Blaenau Ffestiniog up there. Let's carry on walking up the hill, because I think we've got a bridge that crosses where the incline was. It's a bit overgrown up there now. You can't get to this section of the incline, I understand. Obviously, following inclines, that means there's going to be a lot of walking uphill. I'll try and keep the panting to a minimum. So we're just approaching here. See where these railings are? And this is the bridge. Sorry, I just had to get out of the way of a car there. Yeah, this is a bridge. Now, I think you can see this bridge from down there. I've not been able to get a decent view of it though. But this is the incline going straight down there to where we were at the bottom. This bottom section of the incline is called the village incline. Let me have a look. Ah, right, you can quite clearly see there, look, can't you? See the open banking of the incline going up there? So just hanging you over the top of this bridge, look, you can still see the wing wall there. The incline's in a cutting by the looks of things just here. It's hard to see for all the trees, but the incline, I think, is still there, isn't it? It's just overgrown now. It's quite steep. I'm hoping to get a better look at this this incline on foot as we get further up the top.
So that's the village incline, not the longest at 111 metres, but it raised the tramway up an elevation of 49 metres. To be honest, it looks a little longer than 111 metres, so I'm not entirely sure how accurate those figures are. But if we look on the map, we can see the winding drum house. And the good news is that we can easily make out where that drum was from above. After the incline, the tramway levels off and curves to the left through a series of impressive cut-ins and embankments.
So I've just taken a public footpath just from in the village, and here we are. We're crossing the tram line here. Look at that on an embankment, and you can see the next incline going up there. Look, but wow, look at this. I'm gonna have a walk back the other way. So this is going back down towards the village now. So it's hard to tell from maps, and I didn't know the topography of this tramway, but actually I don't think we're getting down there how it is. Yeah, we're not passing through there, that's flooded. So first incline's down there, the village incline, then it's flattened off. But that's fine, I just wanted to see that cut-in. I saw it from above, but that's brilliant, isn't it? Little canyon. So we'll have a walk this way. So walking along the top of that embankment. But just look at that next incline coming into view. Fantastic, that. And then look at the view just coming back from where we've walked. Even after all these years, the tramway's still quite clearly defined, isn't it? So it seems like a good time just to stop and just give you a little bit of information about what it is that we're going to be seeing. So the Cwmorthin Quarry, quarrying started on the site from around 1810. So it was in 1860 when it was connected to the Ffestiniog Railway, where we started earlier on. Now this tramway that we've seen so far, if you saw my videos on the Ffestiniog Railway, same gauge, 1 foot, 11.5 inches. And like we know, it ran up to Cwmorthin Quarry at the top. And later, it connected also to the Conclog Slate Quarry, which is another level above. The quarry that we'll see when we eventually get to the top was mothballed around the time of the Second World War. I mean, that's the second incline that we've seen, so that's the incline that went up to the lower mill in the quarry. So I'll just read you what I've got here. 2 rope-worked incline planes allowed the tramway to negotiate the difference in level between the mill and the Ffestiniog Railway. So we've seen those 2 inclines already, haven't we? The connection of the final incline to the railway was deemed too dangerous by the Board of Trade Inspector in 1864, so not long after it's open, as there were no track points to prevent runaway wagons from running onto the main line. As a result, Ffestiniog Railway had to install distance signals and a telegraph connection to the winding house at the incline summit. I'm assuming that's the one we saw, the winding drums down there. And trains were not allowed to run along the main line while the incline was in use. I'll tell you what, some work's been put into it to make this tramway, hasn't it? Cut-ins and the inclines. I mean, look at this wall. Work of art, that. And I was wrong. We can, why am I always walking up these inclines? Why am I never walking down? I need to plan these better, don't I? Yeah, so that's a view from the bottom of the incline. Quite daunting. It's not too long though, is it that? Not too bad. And then looking back down, looking back through that cut-in that was flooded. Right, let's go. I'll try to keep the talking to me a minimum on this, because you don't want to be listening to me gasping for air, do you? I can't believe I've missed this. I'm just walking past it. I've just stepped over it twice. Look at that, it's the old cable. The old cable from the incline. It was used to pull the wagons up, and you can see it go all the way. You see it disappearing all the way into the bottom there. But just look at that. Look at the wall on the left-hand side there that they've made here. Brilliant. It's a shame there's no tracks, or well, not that I've seen anyway, not that I've spotted, left in the ground. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? A couple of rails just sticking out of the grass. Stopping for a breather. I thought I climbed a long way. I really haven't. But just look at the view. It's hard not to stop and just take it in. No rush, is there? No rush to get to the top whatsoever. Look at this. How is it? It's impossible not to be impressed, isn't it? The size of these walls. Unfortunately, the ground has taken a rather soggy turn of affairs. Ankle deep bog. It's funny, only at the top of the incline though. Oh, it's like a lake up here. Right, this rope here. Oh, I think I need a minute. Nice some climb that. But look at the view. I mean, that's spectacular. Just the whole experience of walking through there, unreal, well worth it. Right, I'm recovered, I'm back with you. This rope, look, goes off up here onto with these two piers, I assume with the supports for the winding drum. I'm going to navigate my way through that lake at the bottom now. And there's a view the other way, looking through the winding drums. So the tramway just literally disappears off a cliff, doesn't it, there? And the rope goes back into the ground. So where's that going then? Is that just the end of it? It's just discarded down there and it's become overgrown, I assume. So we're at the top now. So, I know, it's back. Here it is, look. That rope's still going. And here's the end, look. Just frayed off at the end. There's a couple of ends actually. Great views over the lake, over to the power station. Just be very, very careful. It's not to preach to anybody, but these loose slate hillsides, probably one of the most unstablest you can tread on the wrong bit. Right, this old quarry at the top. So we had it says on that information about the incline, it goes up to the lower mill, which, if I'm looking at the old maps, I think there's buildings just where them trees are right in front there. But no, brilliant. It wasn't just this one tramway. That tramway's got us up here, and it separates out into an array of other internal tramways, even some underground tramways, I understand. Try and piece together if we see anything of that nature. But just carry on walking the line of the tramway. Look, let's do another cut in here. Just as boggy as the last cut in. Biggest mistake today. I opted for trail shoes, thinking they'd be a bit more lighter and grippier than my boots. No match for that water. It's gone straight over the top. Never mind. Not scared of a wet foot. It'll dry out. Either that or I'll have trench foot by 4 o'clock. There's more rope here, look. So you can definitely make out the tramway.
I will end this episode here and we'll continue our look around the remains of the Cwmorthin Quarry in the next part. Thanks to all my fantastic channel members and channel supporters who bought me a coffee or sent me a super thanks. I hope you enjoyed the trip up the tramway as much as my calves. So take care and we'll see you on the next one.